So whether it's a small company or a large company, the process we use is very much the same. And it's kind of lucky because this is a process I learned from being in the industry. And before that, I never realized actually there is a way, there is a methodology to define, communicate, translate, and bring to life a brand. And I was very lucky to have kind of worked with some of the best minds in the business. A guy by the name of Michael Wolff, who created and subsequently left Wolff Olins, the largest branding agency in the world. I worked on a couple of projects with him, and this is part of the process that he uses, and we've just modified that for kind of small and medium-sized businesses. And really where it kind of first starts off with is a bit of knowledge gathering, an exploratory phase where we first either speak to customers, staff. Again, if it's a smaller business, that level of inputs become much smaller. Larger the business, then that's where it becomes a lot more work. Also, we look at the competitor set, and I'm not looking at the competitors in a form of, okay, what's your turnover, how many customers do you serve? I'm looking at the brand communication. How brand savvy are they in their marketing and comms? Are they using a lot of non-literal imagery? What kind of language do they use? Are they using key messages or not? And all of that kind of stuff becomes very powerful and interesting because it allows you to map where exactly you want to be pushing the brand. How hard does your brand have to work? Also, a very important thing, which I'll talk about later as well, is color. How much and what kind of color do they use? Are they color smart in their brand? So once we've kind of done this initial phase of gathering knowledge, we next get into doing workshops with clients. And this is about playing associative games because a lot of the thinking, a lot of the ideas that come into brand are really rooted in psychology. I guess psychologists realize there's more money in advertising and marketing than there was being a lecturer. And so some of the techniques that we use are coming from that kind of school of thought. And what we do is play associative games where we're listening out for words, key phrases, terminologies, which someone consciously or subconsciously is relating to their brand. And what we find is that these map out into certain areas. And from that, then we can define 9 words which really define what the brand is about. Because once you've got it rooted in something, then bring that brand alive, whether it's through your marketing communications, your store formats, your product propositions, or how staff engage, it's coming from somewhere. And it's something I see. It's like often when you say to someone, hey, let's get creative, and you give them a blank sheet of paper, kind of like anything goes. And because you've been given so much freedom, you kind of find comfort in cliches like, hey, let's be premium, let's be British. But when you've actually confined what a brand is about, if you say, hey, we're unconventional, that then becomes a stimulus for a whole brand campaign. It becomes an easy way to start writing copy. And that's the kind of the basis of the strategy. Once we've got that in place, then we can have some fun. Then we can go and create brand names, create product names. We can go ahead, create brand architectures or website brochures, any forms of communication, because now it's rooted in something.